Celebrities. Charles Barkley, NBA on TNT. Charles, what do you think about the NFL with Marshawn Lynch? This story's fined $100,000 for not talking to the media.
I think that's ridiculous. You know, I got to tell you something, man. I can't believe. Listen, I do think it's obviously the most professional thing to do, but I don't think guys have to talk to us. I mean, I'm part of the media now, but to fine guys $100,000, they shouldn't have to talk to the media. I just think that's ridiculous.
Should you have the right to not talk?
Of course.
But they make these coaches every week. You know, Bill Belichick will have a press conference, and he doesn't say anything, but he shows up for the press conference, so he's not fined.
Well, you know, I actually don't have a problem with the way Bill does it. I mean, the media, you know, a lot of these guys are scumbags. You know, everything you say, this is what he said, but this is what he meant. So, listen, you can't talk to them and be. They say they want you to be honest, but when you're honest, they're gonna rip you. I mean, that's just the news cycle we live in. Dan, they've given every idiot in the world a forum with Twitter, and, you know, that's why I do zero social media. I don't care what these jackasses have to say. And then the media, most of the guys are really good guys, to be honest with you. But because the way the news cycle works, they have to make up stuff every single day. Listen, but I think it's ridiculous they take that man's money. He should not have to talk to the press.
What's the meanest thing that was ever made up about you by a reporter?
Oh, I don't really worry about it too much. I mean, listen, I expect to get criticized when I don't play well. That goes with it. But I never read stuff about, like I say, I don't use the internet at all. Well, I do use it for some things, but I never read chat boxes or other people's opinion. You know, I have a very strict rule. No social media is allowed around me. My friends cannot tell me what's being said or heard, because if I want to read about it, I would read it. But I have a 100% zero social media event on me.
Yeah.
Tolerance, zero tolerance. You talk about zero tolerance. I'm never going to read anything about myself. You know, I think the worst thing ever happened to the world is reality television. You know, I don't care about other people's lives. I'm trying to live my own life. Shaq
does Twitter, doesn't he?
He does Twitter. You know, Ken and Ernie does. And they've asked me to do it. I told them that's never going to happen. Because, you know, unfortunately, Dan, and you're in this situation too, these fans, most of them are great, but a lot of them are idiots. If you don't pick their team to win or you criticize their player, they go crazy. It's like your opinion don't matter. Their opinion matters, but yours don't. You know, we get paid to pick a game. And I can't say this enough. I never care who's going to win. But you have to pick a team. That's what your job is. You get paid to come on TV and radio every day to voice your opinion.
Yep.
I think that, you know, one reason I do your show, I like you. You know, you got no heart when it comes to golf. You a coward when it comes to coming to Lake Tahoe and playing under pressure in front of people. I will never forgive you for that. But I respect you as a guy who doesn't have a hidden agenda.
See, I brought that course to its knees in Tahoe, and I can't do that again. I moved on to another course, Charles.
Yeah, okay. I like the way you were taking those little gimme putts. Now, we have to put out here, Dan.
I know. I did think that there were gimmies when you play in these celebrity events. And Charles goes, what are you doing? You got to putt those out. I'm going, oh, God, I do? Yeah, that was bad. Do you ever get sick of your teammates?
It depends on the teammate, Dan, to be honest with you, because what happens is guys, everybody has a different agenda. You know, some guys are trying to get contracts. You know, that's probably the only time I ever got sick of teammates. You know, they don't worry about winning. They worry about their own individual numbers. Me being blessed to be a star was a little bit different. But now, you know, you see, like this guy, he's just trying to get numbers because you're comparing yourself to other players around the league. You're like, well, that guy got that much money. If I average X amount of points, and you become a selfish player in certain instances. Again, a perfect example. I knew after my first year with the Suns that it was going to be very difficult for us to get back to the championship because my first year in Phoenix, we let's just win the championship. Let's get to the finals. Nobody cared about playing time. Nobody cared about who made the most money. But and we lost to the Bulls, obviously. But my second year back in Phoenix, I could hear things. Well, I should be playing more than that guy. I should be playing more than that guy. That guy makes more money than me. And that's probably the toughest thing that goes on in sports. That's one of the reasons I really admire, like, the Spurs. It's like, man, they just want to win. You know, Tim Duncan takes less money. Tony Parker takes less money. They don't worry. They just want to win. That's why I think, you know, they're like the Patriots to me as the best organization in sports. I mean, it's amazing what kind of system they have in their place. I mean, Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward ever. He's like, no, just give me less money so we can sign this guy. Tony Parker's like, give me less money. Ginobili. I mean, it's just amazing what they're able to do, and it's just beautiful to watch.
Is Duncan better than you?
Yeah, he's the greatest power forward ever. That's tough for me to say.
Okay, but if I took away, can I take away the titles and just say his game to your game?
Well, I think I was a better rebounder and a passer. He's better he runs the floor better than I did, and he's better on the box. He's got an assortment. But I would put I always tell people about Dennis Rodman. People tell me Dennis Rodman was a great rebounder, and Dennis Rodman was a great rebounder. And when he gets some more rebounds, he'll catch me. So, but Dennis was but I think I was a better rebounder. And I think I'm a better passer. But Tim's just a wonderful person, and he's the greatest power forward ever. No disrespect to the best player I ever played against, Kevin McHale. Karl Malone was amazing as a power forward also.
Can we take a break? I want to come back. The Lakers beat the Rockets last night. Spurs over the
don't go overboard, Dan. I watched the game. It was a nail-biter game, and there was no Dwight Howard. They beat the Hawks and the Rockets. The Lakers are not going to make the playoffs. Stop it.
I didn't say they were. I just wanted to ask you about Swaggy P.
That's exactly what you need when you're having a heart attack. Somebody to put a Band-Aid on your wrist.
All right, we'll continue with Charles Barkley. I'll try not to play up the Lakers win over Houston. The Spurs was that a big win against the Cavs. And what if we set an over-under for teams? If you didn't reach 15 wins, let's say, that you were really trying to tank, that it cost you like $20 million. How do you deter teams from tanking? Because you have front office tanking by the 76ers. So we'll continue with Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley back with us, NBA on TNT. What's the first concert you ever went to?
I think it was Billy Joel.
Billy Joel?
Maybe Phil Collins. I think when I was in college, our coach took us to see Phil Collins, and it was actually really good. I think when I was in college, because I couldn't afford it growing up, but I think it was Phil Collins. It was really good. It was at Rupp Arena, I think, the night before we played a Kentucky team. It was really cool.
Did you beat Kentucky?
We were one of the first teams to beat them when they were ranked number 1 up at Rupp Arena. So I can't remember what year we beat them. But it was during that time.
Who was? Thank
God we don't have to play them today.
Could they actually hold their own with the Sixers?
I don't ever like to disparage pro teams when you compare them to pro.
Well, the Sixers aren't a pro team.
They got some pro players. And hey, neither does Kentucky yet.
Well, they come pretty close.
Yeah, it would be, I still would go with the Sixers because those guys are physically stronger.
But could they stay within 25?
Yeah, no question. Yeah, they stay within 25. Yeah.
Yeah, I just how about we do this? That you have to get to at least 15 wins, or it costs the organization $20 million.
No, listen, the NBA doesn't listen to me, and on some things they should, some things they shouldn't. I've said this all along. The way they should do the lottery, okay, only one time in the last 30 years has the team with the worst record got the number 1 draft pick. The way to stop, quote-unquote, tanking, which I think is an overused term, is to just give each team one ping pong ball. Like I say, only one time in 30 years has a team with the worst record got the number one draft pick. So instead of rewarding teams for losing, just give each team one ping pong ball. To me, that would be the easiest way to do that.
I know that you accuse me of overreacting to the Lakers beating Houston, but
Yeah, if you think that, if you watch the game, it was a 1-point game. Actually, James Harden, they had a 1-point lead, and James Harden dribbled it off his foot, and he went down there and kissed the guy when he was going in for a layup instead of knocking his ass in the stands. You don't ever give up 3-point plays in that situation. I've been kissed harder than that. I mean, they got the lead, he gives up the ball, and he comes down there and kisses the guy on the fingertips as he lays it in for a 3-point play.
Do you feel sorry for Kobe at all?
No, the guy's got 5 world championships. He's one of the 10 greatest basketball players ever.
But the current situation.
No, he has something to do with that. You know, like I say, Kobe's he has to accept the fact that he's getting older. You look at, okay, let me give you a couple examples. Look, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of the greatest players ever. And when he was past his prime, he kind of gave it over to Magic a little bit, a lot. You know, Tim Duncan, the greatest power forward ever, he's passed the buck to Tony Parker and Kawhi Leonard. You know, when you are no longer the best player in the world and you're on the downside of your career, you can't still think that you're the man every night, Dan. You know, you have to subvert. I can't think of the word, subvert your personality. Like, okay, I can still be a good player, but it's time for me to share because these other guys, you know, it's their time is coming. And Kobe has to take some responsibility for that. He's not the same guy he was 10 years ago when he was the best player in the world.
But is he still the best player on the team?
Oh, he's the best player on that team.
Yeah, but you're talking about Kareem when he knew Magic was the best player on the team. You're talking about Duncan, who knows Parker is the best player on the team. He doesn't have a young guy he can go, hey, I'm going to let you take over here.
Well, I think that's one of the problems why they haven't been able to sign other players. You know, I think that's one of the reasons they had guys don't want to go there.
Would you want to play with Kobe?
Well, it depends on how it worked out.
Right now.
You know, right now, if let's say it's a loaded question. If I was a great player in my prime and I got traded to the Lakers and he still wanted to be the man, I wouldn't not want to do that. You know, he has to accept the fact. Listen, hey, I'm only thing me and Charles Barkley got in common is name now. I'm an old fat has-been. For me to go to a team past my prime and think like, hey, I'm still the man, it doesn't work like that. Like if Tim Duncan didn't give in and want to still be like, hey, you guys know I'm the man. I got the most championships. I'm the greatest power forward ever. And he would hold Tony Parker and Kawhi Leonard back. Yeah. That team would not won a championship last year.
But you can't have people emulate the Spurs because these guys aren't going to take less money. Tim Duncan took less. Parker took less. Ginobili took less. They're going to ask Kawhi Leonard to take less. You don't find guys who are willing to sacrifice like that.
Yeah, yes, you do. The good ones, the great ones. I'm not comparing myself. You know, like I said, I was one of the first guys to take less money. I took less money so we could sign Scottie Pippen. I told you my big mistake was he didn't bring Michael Jordan with him. You know, if I was going to take less money, I'd have said, please bring Michael with you. But
you would have to take no money.
I did take no money. But, you know, listen, man, I just think that, listen, when you get up at all this money, you know, guys who have played for 5, 10, 15, 20 years and made $30 million to $50 to $100 million a year, taking $5 million less, that money doesn't matter. Because you, like I say, you asked me if I feel sorry for Kobe. To take $5 million less and be on a good team or on a team that stinks, you always take less money.
Why did he take the max that they were going to give him? Why did he take $24 million?
Well, I think the Lakers probably, you know, they gave him that because they knew they weren't going to be any good, and they want to use him as a draw. Because we're going to show the Lakers.
Yes.
We're going to show the Lakers until Kobe runs out of his Nikes. I mean, that's just the way this business works. You know, it's like when you watch a guy who's a great boxer, they're going to put him out there as long as he can draw attention. I mean, that's just the way sports work. They make a lot of money on your bones. You make a lot of money too now, but we're gonna show the Lakers as much. Like I guarantee you, I don't know this right off the head, with the exception of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I believe between ESPN and TNT, I would willing to bet you a nice size bet, Dan, that the Lakers are going to be the second most televised team.
I would say it'd be pretty close. I thought about that last night when the Lakers played the Spurs. It was on national TV. You had the game last night, national TV. They don't shy away from the Lakers. There's still a curiosity factor.
No, that's a Kobe Bryant factor. There's no curiosity. If you think if you don't think they suck, don't be curious, Dan. The Lakers stink.
How surprised were you? Kevin Durant says to Dwight Howard to his face and calls him what he calls him.
You mean Kobe?
No. You had Durant did it to Dwight Howard the other night when both teams got into a little bit of skirmish, and then you see Kevin Durant.
Oh, let me just tell you this.
He called him a kitty.
Listen, Dwight Howard and Blake at some point are going to have to stand up for themselves.
But why do people not? I'm trying to figure that out. Where is their animosity towards Dwight Howard?
Well, because I think he's such a nice guy, and he always is laughing when people are doing stuff to him. And then at some point, you always have to knock the hell out of somebody. You know me, Dan.
Yeah.
Fans know I'm going to always treat fans with respect and dignity. But if they give me a hard time, I'm going to punch them in the head. Because I want them to know, he's a really nice guy, but if you cross him, he's going to punch me in the head. And Dwight Howard and Blake Griffin got to do that. They both got those reputations. They're two nice of guys. And that's the one thing you don't want, because people mistake kindness for weakness.
Before I let you go, you have this argument again with the NFL commissioner having judge and jury, all the power, the feeling.
Those days are over, Dan, because exactly what's happening is happening. You can't make retroactive punishment because you made a mistake. I think he's been really unfair to Adrian Peterson. I hope that Adrian Peterson and Ray Rice both listen. With the jury's still out to me on the Adrian Peterson thing. I thought that was really an overreach by the state of Texas. Listen, spanking your kids. I believe in spanking your kids, and I don't want to hear all that crap about these psychologists. I don't want to hear it. I believe in spanking kids.
But there's an over spanking.
Hold on. Can we debate whether Adrian Peterson went overboard? Of course we can. And I'm willing to submit he might have went overboard. But to arrest that man in that situation, like I said, we can say, hey, Adrian, you went a little overboard. But to try to fire this man for his job and put him in jail. And then we had this conversation a couple of months ago when the thing first happened. Mm-hmm. Adrian Peterson went overboard. But we got to be careful about telling people how to discipline their kids. Because what's next? Hey, man, your kids are too fat. I mean, come on. We're going to start telling people your kid's too fat. And
Charles,
that's what we need to stop with all these obese-ass, fat-ass kids out there. I think we should start taking some of these kids away from their parents.
But, Charles, what if you had a 4-year-old and somebody at daycare disciplined?
No, that's different. That's totally different. Other people can't hit your kids. And like I say, Dan, we can debate whether Adrian Peterson went overboard. I 100% agree with that. But is an arrestable offense. Is that the meaning of child abuse? Because, like I say, all me and our friends' parents would have been arrested for child abuse because I've had the whelps and things like that on my legs and arms. Like I said, that's debatable. But should Adrian Peterson lose his job or go to jail? My answer to that is a resounding no. And like I say, even Ray Rice, is what he did was really stupid. He deserves another chance. Let me tell you something. Roger Goodell and DeMar Smith, I'm going to call DeMar too, because I like DeMar. They've screwed this whole domestic violence thing up. I said it when we started the season, we were in New York. It should be simple. The first time you hit a woman, you should be suspended for 6 games or something like that. The second time, after then it should be played out in the legal system. We shouldn't even be having this debate. Me and my two dogs, Mango and you, who can solve this domestic abuse thing. If you hit a woman, first of all, you should get to go to court. Let that stuff play out. The first time you hit a woman, you should get suspended in the NFL 6 games, in the NBA probably 10 games. The second time you hit a woman, you should be banned for life. No reinstatement in a year or two. You should be banned for life. Plain and simple. I have no idea why Roger Goodell and DeMar Smith can't get together. We can't have men hitting women, man.
I know.
Like these guys, we'll address it at the end of the season. No, we don't have to address this crap at the end of the season. We can address it tomorrow. Hey, if you hit a woman, you're going to get suspended for a long period of time. And the second time you do it, you're never going to play in our sport again. I have no idea why Roger Goodell and DeMar Smith can't get together in 2 minutes and make this rule up.
I appreciate you joining us. I got to go.
All right, my brother. Thank you.
All right, Charles. Charles Barkley, NBA on TNT.